Hey, this is Tondi from Dice Heroes, and you're listening to Legends of Tabletop.
Hey everybody, this is episode 55. We're doing a Meet the Hosts tonight with Tondi from Dice Heroes. We haven't done one of these in a little while, so we're going to get back to it. I also have with me tonight Vince.
How you doing, everybody?
He's been a little hit and miss as of late, so we'll take him when we can get him, I guess.
Story of my life.
So we're going to kick the show off here, Tondi, with a thing we call something cool. So anything cool that you've had going on for the last week or so, last month? Cool movies, good gaming story, anything like that?
Last night we did character generation for our first long run of Call of Cthulhu, which I'll be running in about 3 weeks. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. This is the first time you guys are playing Call of Cthulhu, right?
Proper Call of Cthulhu, yeah. So we've played around with some Call of Cthulhu style games with Fate, and I've played a little bit of Trail of Cthulhu, maybe even with you, John.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be the first time going into the real thing, I guess.
Cool. What about you, Vince? What do you got going on?
Not much, really. Just trying to regroup after the family issues. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. It's decidedly uncool. So.
Decidedly uncool. Well, you posted a little video there of your cool dwarven forged little in the dark braziers.
Yeah, they're going to be. We'll preempt that by saying everyone will be seeing those soon in a live stream using those LED braziers with little fake fire, and they flicker, and it's kind of badass. It gives you a nerd boner. We'll have some dwarven forged tiles along with those braziers, and we're going to live stream a game. Be about 3 or 4 people at the table. John will be the max headroom coming in live off of the Google Hangout, and you'll be able to watch that and take part in the Dwarven Forge 5e Dungeons & Dragons campaign. So there you go.
First session, August 20th.
You can have that, yes.
I picked up Zombicide last weekend and Forbidden Island, and I got to play Inquisition last night for the first time. That was pretty cool. So just still kind of getting into a little bit more board games, and I should give a shout out to, I don't have the window open, Loot. Hold on. God damn it. I should be more prepared.
What the fuck?
I know. It's not Loot Crate.
God damn it.
Loot Crate sponsors. Loot Lair.
Loot Lair? We should get them to sponsor us. Hear that, Loot Lair? Sponsor us.
So they had a contest going on Twitter that I entered, and I wound up winning, and I have a very cool mimic treasure chest coming from Loot Lair. So shout out to those guys. Thank you. It's awesome.
That's pretty badass. Cool.
They're the best times of chests to find.
Yeah. We found a couple in some of your games.
Mimics are also.
So are you a little bit worried when you get that in the post? What's going to actually be in there? Do you reckon there could be a prank going on there?
I don't know. So they said choose either the evil box or the happy box, and of course I chose the evil box. So, we'll see what the outer box looks like when it gets here.
Is it an evil chest?
It is.
Nice.
And so I'm actually interested in what a happy box would be.
It's got kind of a smirk, like a half a smirk. No teeth.
Okay.
It doesn't have all the teeth.
You keep locked away in your bedroom cupboard then.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. It should be pretty cool, and we'll definitely get some pics up on the Instagram. Follow us at Legends_of_tabletop there. But nobody cares about that. So let's get back to it here. We've got Tondi on. So first question: why start a podcast?
Why not?
Yeah, pretty much. Why not? I've got some training in multimedia, digital editing, and that type of thing. So for me, after joining a gaming group with a couple of mates, it was kind of a way for me to keep some skills sharp and to play with technology, which is something that I love to do. And Yeah, it's a cool way to record. Like our podcast is very much rough around the edges, and it always will be because it's really just there to record it and kind of be a little time capsule for our own selves and maybe our families in the future.
Cool. Did you get any pushback from the guys initially? When you were like, hey, how about this? We record them and put them on the internet. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, there's. I mean, every time there's a idea like that, there's a little bit of skepticism there, but everybody's well on board. Every time we talk about numbers or buying new tech or upgrading tech or the way we play the game and that type of thing, they were all always slightly interested, but there was definitely some why are we doing this again kind of questions.
I think that's the same question we all ask ourselves when we start doing something like this.
Anything really.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
And you're lucky with your group. You guys kind of alternate back and forth. You have a couple people that'll GM. Do you prefer to GM or do you prefer to play? What's kind of your feeling on that?
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that pretty much everybody around our table, everyone has GM'd while I've been playing, and most of us are quite happy to GM. So depending on what's going on in life, will depend on whether I want to GM or play. Often, if I'm busy or stressed with family or work, I don't have time to GM, or I'll end up just phoning it in, and I don't feel satisfied doing that. Whereas a player, you can go, you can bring your character sheet, you can bring your dice, and you can just go with the flow. So it depends. I definitely like GMing when it's going well and you're telling a good story and you're surprising your players and you're kind of organising and controlling that happiness. But when it's not going well, it can be very unsatisfying. So I like both. Given the preference, I probably would, given the choice of one or the other, I'd probably pick GM. But that's probably more to do with being a control freak.
Yeah, related.
But I'm also very lazy, so they don't really mix well.
Well, that kind of leads into the next question. Do you spend a lot of time game prepping, or do you pants more of your games? Or is it a combination?
I've never, I lie. When I originally started GMing, it was 4th edition D&D, and at that time I was playing a lot of play-by-posts on the Nerdbound forums. Shout out to Neil, the son of a bitch.
That guy.
So a lot of the prep, and I was very interested in how we could digitize the gameplay. So I was actually creating a lot of the maps in Photoshop. I had little vector-drawn characters which I was creating. So I was creating all these assets to kind of, and we had a screen up instead of a mat, and we'd have that mat up, and I'd move the layers around, and that was fun and gimmicky, but it took a lot of work. And I guess it was more focused around the creation of the assets. Nowadays, that went out the window probably around the same time that I started having kids. Nowadays, I'm much more focused towards the story of the mind, and with the whole kind of revolution with Fate and stuff about things that are less board gamey, more theatre of the mind. So I'm very pro that, but I'm not so pro that I'm against having assets and resources to help you play. Story-wise, I try and prep enough elements to fall into place that I need to, but I very much enjoy the improv of role-playing games. I think that's one of the things that really attracted me to role-playing games, the fact that a character could say something, and from that you could play 7 more sessions just on some random occurrence, and I love that openness.
Well, as a player in some of those forum games, they were amazing. I mean, that D&D 4E game on Nerdbound forums lasted for what, 3 years, 3.5 years?
You nerds. That's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
very cool.
And that was definitely at the beginning of my addiction to role-playing games, where I couldn't get enough of it. And yeah, with a play by post, it's so much like you can read, you can digest, you can like, okay, I can plan for this. Whereas at the table, you can't do that type of thing. But yeah, they were very cool.
Yeah, you were running what, like 3 or 4 games, playing in a couple of games. It was pretty crazy.
Jesus.
Plus the podcast games. Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Yeah, I definitely needed a support group. Yeah.
So you said you kind of pants the the recording sort of thing. How much time do you spend like editing, manipulating the podcast after the fact, or is it pretty much, hey, let's take it off the recorder and just get it loaded up?
My process is I've set myself up in a way that I can record and then edit straight from the recording. So I don't need to do any moving of audio files or converting of anything. So I do 2-channel recording. I do a listen through. I remove anything that is overtly spiking on the mic or just really, really boring to listen to or offensive. And after that one playthrough, I run a couple of effects. So I do a truncate silence with Audacity, I do a normalization and export.
Nice. Does anybody help you with that? Or is it...
No, I've tried to streamline it as much as I can, but what that does mean is the games we're releasing are up to 3 to 6 months behind, and there are games that we've not released. There's an entire season of Rogue Trader, our initial season, which I recorded and didn't end up releasing. And there's an entire D&D 4E, not entire, but a good chunk, and a good chunk of a 5E that I ran that I didn't release. I'm more critical on my stuff than what the guys run. So, yeah, so a lot of stuff falls by the wayside. If I don't do the process within the week, odds are I'll miss a week. So we're not good podcasters. But there's definitely a lot of content that will always come. So, like, sometimes we release twice a week, sometimes we release once, sometimes I forget. But yeah, so we're not lacking in content, that's for sure.
Well, you're moving into Ross Payton territory. You're going to have a backlog of years.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're, has the Facebook page, which he's a little bit interested in. We'd love to be able to get to releasing week of or 1 week behind. Knowing me, though, that's not going to happen. That just comes down to my laziness.
Yeah, I'd like to have your backlog. We're mining the old Nerdbound episodes to fill in as we try to work this back catalog up a little bit. I think we jumped the gun a little bit when we started with the APs. It was like, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, it's definitely even though like while I'm doing this, I'm usually like multitasking, so I'll be re-listening through the podcast, which is 3 hours of recording or more per session, and if you are just sitting down editing, that's a lot of your day gone. So I'm usually, if I've got free time, playing a PC game or planning or trying to write something, or so I'm never sitting down just editing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have thought about like the Fivers and that type of thing to get someone else to edit it.
Mm-hmm.
But because the files are so large, you know, by the time you transport them back,
It's
too
kind
much
of
effort.
yeah. How often do you guys get together and play? Is it once a week or once a month?
Yeah, once a week we're fairly steady. It's only if someone's out of town and we've got nothing else to do, or multiple people are out of town, we don't play. So weekly catch up, which is something that we look forward to every week.
Mm-hmm. And the wives are all okay with that. You guys don't catch a lot of flack for sitting around and making pretend.
Not too bad. I mean, I myself call it nerd night. The other boys probably call it game night. But yeah, we're all not really of the mentality that would really care. We'd really care about that thing. I mean, we definitely. No one's ever brought their wife to the table. The closest we've got is actually the closest we've got is just a wife sitting by, or a partner or a friend sitting by observing and cracking jokes, but everyone was laughing. We are our own worst enemies when we come to making fun of each other. That's the Australian way.
Right. They don't no interest from the girls to get in and play, or no?
Well, it is kind of like a boys' night as well, so I'm not sure if we want to open that bag of chips.
Nope, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I know that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's any future plans for getting some of the kids as they grow up involved. But I wouldn't be surprised because some of us have. I've got girls, but some of us have boys that are probably I believe have already asked, and they're still in primary school, kind of thing. they want to join the crew. But yeah, it's kind of like our solace or our little retreat. So.
Hey, you need that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite in-game moment? Any special memory that's you're fond of that you always come back to and smile? Or can you not tell that story?
Well, that's the thing. Most of these things turn into, it's funny, most of these moments turn into recurring jokes for the group, and sometimes they won't be released, so we'll be joking about something that someone's not heard yet, or they might never hear. One of my favorite things when I was running 4th edition, and this is something that never got released, was the characters were going through the Underdark, and they were going deep into the Underdark. And one of the players was playing a Deva, and he started drawing on the little pieces of paper. He was scared of getting lost, so he started drawing on the maps. And there was an event where they encountered the god of lies, Lolth, in their dreams. And depending on their choices, depended on some of them may have. Well, after that night, there was rumors that one of them bedded Lolth. It was one of the It was one of those moments where I sent everyone away from the table and talked to them one-on-one. So there was no one who could actually prove that right or wrong.
Do you have to make a roll for that?
There was another one whose familiar went from a dragon, I think, to a spider for some reason.
Wow.
But my favorite moment of it, one of the Deva was devout to their god, so wouldn't have a bar from Lolth. But when they woke up, the other players, I think he might have fumbled, but the other players walked into his room, and all of the maps that he was drawing on connected to show places that they hadn't been yet. And it was basically a map from the memories of a past life, one of the Deva's past lives, and it was basically ended up being a map down to Torog, god of torture. And the story we got from that was very interesting, and it made the way that the players looked at each other very different, and there was a lot of fun to come out of that one.
Cool.
Yep, that's definitely cool. So as you've been playing, when did you start playing RPGs? Nope. Uh-oh. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Lost your audio then. Yep.
God damn. You guys can't hear me at all?
We can hear you. What the fuck?
Yep, I
going
can
on
hear you,
there?
John.
God damn it. I
Arizona
hate
sucks.
this computer. I hate it. When did you start playing RPGs? Were you like in grade school, teenager, college?
No, so the group I play with have been playing since primary school, which might be grade school, but since they were little tykes in Cubs or Scouts or the equivalent, which I didn't do any of that type of thing growing up. But I think there was a case of, so one of the players is one of my wife's friend's husbands, and I think there was a case of mistaken identity because he, like, we at a party, he was like, "You play games, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I play games because I play video games."
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, you should come one night and we'll play." And this was when I was in my 20s, so not that long ago. Well, more than 10 years ago now. And so I went there, and they're playing Shadowrun, or they're starting a game of Shadowrun. I'm like, okay. I thought we were going to do some landing or something. And basically, I was hooked from there.
Nice. That's cool. Now, in your playing career, so to speak, have you transitioned at all? Were you like ever just like, hey, let's just kill the monsters and take their stuff, and then move into more like, hey, I'm more into the story and get into character ideas and like you were saying, improv and stuff earlier. So have you seen a shift at all in your play style, or what you appreciate as a player?
I probably go back and forth. When we started podcasting, I was definitely pushing more descriptive gameplay from the other characters and myself, and that kind of definitely let us down. Okay, what are some other games? What are some more story-based games and that type of thing? But I think we went maybe so far down that path that we missed the mechanic of like rules-heavy games. And I'm very pro mid, like I'm very pro a combination of the two. I am very pro D&D 4th edition, and the people who hate on it, I think they just don't get it. They don't understand what a role-playing game is, because like the argument like, well, your movement's in squares, you can't play without a board, and then it's movement is movement. In every game there will be some type of qualifier. It's either in meters or feet or something, and I think a lot of games, like, you read it and you just, okay, that's going to be too hard to manage. We'll just, not worry about it. Whereas D&D 4th just tried to manage that type of thing. And it was very board gaming, but the whole thing about RPGs, I think, is it's a hybrid between the two. I think anything that kind of goes too far is more like a fiasco-type storytelling, which is different than an RPG, like a board game is different than an RPG.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm in the camp with you. I thoroughly enjoyed 4th edition, and I know people throw a lot of shade at it, but if you want to tell a story, you can do it in 4th. It may not lend itself on the outside to that sort of game, but if that's what you want to do, you can certainly do it. I mean, we did it in the play-by-post.
Yeah. And I think I think like rules-heavy games like Anima, Shadowrun, MERP, uh, Eclipse Phase. Like, these things are full of rules, and they're very, very popular. And they're not popular because they're full of rules. They're popular because the stories you can tell with them are incredible. So I think that the RPG community's kind of gone very pro storytelling and is kind of poo-pooing mechanics-heavy games, and I really think that's missing the point. There's nothing more frustrating to me than either a rule set or a mechanic that is too light, and your players and you have to stop the flow of everything and say, okay, so what does this mean? Do we now need to house rule something? So this is how it's going to be from now on, or we did it this way this time and we did it this way that time. That's a bit unfair. But on the other side, if you have to stop and read a book every time there's a new action, you know.
Yeah.
So hitting that sweet spot, I think, is where the true role-playing game is.
Well, now I think that's kind of where you fall into the rule of cool. So even something, super crunchy like Rogue Trader, when you're in the flow of the game and like instead of stopping and like, okay, well we need to flip the page, whatever, be like, that sounds really cool, just do it. And I think that crosses all, RPG, light rules, heavy rules. Like if it's cool, just do it. We'll figure it out later, and then in the future, like then maybe we won't do that again. But I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And then conversely, there's those times when you're like, no matter what damage you're going to do, you're going to kill this thing. But the player will say, but I want to roll it. I want to see,
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't escape the other, and I don't think you should escape the other. Yeah.
No, there's something very visceral about being able to roll dice to whatever it is to climb the ladder or kill the monster or whatever it is. It's just there's so much satisfaction in just clack 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 and just rolling those dice out and see what happens because it's so completely random.
What was that?
Clack 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 clack.
Nice hand motion too.
All right.
Yeah, the random element.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I love gambling, even though I don't have the money to do it. But that chance, that itch, that
tension,
success or failure, the tension, yeah, that gives you a high as well.
Yep, and it can change the story in good ways or bad ways depending on your approach to gaming. And if you're a power gamer and you miss, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world, I missed, I can't believe it, the guy was just standing there. But it can lead to such interesting outcomes from that, like you were saying earlier with improv. So that could take the story in a completely different direction that nobody saw because somebody botched the roll, diplomacy roll or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, some of our favorite moments are definitely when people roll, because we are quite hard on fumbles. Criticals are always very good, but the fumbles are usually the most memorable things that happen. Either suddenly there's a crack in that there wasn't there before, or instead of shooting your enemy, you shoot your friend. Those things spice up the game a lot.
Right. Do you have a favorite game that you like to play, for RPG wise?
Probably not. I like giving any system a go, any setting a go. Probably just because it was the first game I DM'd in and probably spent my most time in it. I'm not even sure if that's true anymore. D&D 4th edition is definitely something I admire. Also because it was such an innovative change, and I respect that. But yeah, if you've got a game, I will play it.
Well, that's cool. Equal opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, what we like nowadays, we don't play very long sessions often, and we usually try and vary what we're playing, so we definitely play a wide variety. So this Call of Cthulhu game is going to be set in the 20s, which is something that we've never really played with before. So yeah, I think there'll be some interesting things about that. Just looking up a bunch of information about the 20s last night, I think we didn't expect it to be. Yeah, well, I don't do well with history, especially American history, so it should be interesting.
All right, we'll definitely have to tune in for that.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of, like you guys yourselves do some Trailer Cthulhu stuff. There's some other podcasts that do some really good Cthulhu-ish stuff. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to pull something fun off for the guys, but yeah, there's some high bars set nowadays for that type of thing.
Cool. You say you play once a week. How hard is it to get guys together, schedule-wise? You know, kids and all that other stuff. Is it hard to fit it into the schedule?
For us, it's something we do weekly, so we're all good. That's one of the things that I guess I'm really lucky with. We don't need to, try and get randos in or, try and make up numbers for the gaming table. We're all pretty, so we play at night time too, so we play, for example, last night we played 9 till 12, so we've got some people who don't need to sleep, I guess, so that makes it easier.
Well, that's with the Dragon Fisters. We'll start at like 10 East Coast time for those here in the States, and they'll play till 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at 5 o'clock to go to work. And I'm like, man, you guys, that's crazy. Like it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock for me, and I'm like, fuck, I'm ruined the next day.
You can't hang.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you guys board game as well? So, like, say somebody doesn't show up, do you guys pull out Twilight Age of Imperium or Skip Bow or any kind of thing like that?
We've got for the desperate times, we've got Munchkin, and we've got one or two others. Something that was kickstarted, Machinarium possibly, and the Cthulhu game that's really famous. What's that one? Asylum? No.
Arkham Horror?
Is it just called Call of Cthulhu, possibly? No. Arkham Horror, there you go.
Eldritch Horror, too.
Yeah, Fantasy Flight's got a bunch out.
It's not the dice game one. It's the.
Is it the Sandy Peterson one?
But yeah, I mean.
I can't. The name escapes me at the moment. It's okay.
But yeah, we don't play often. Usually, yeah, if someone can't make it, we'll either go see a movie or try to do something else.
Gotcha. Okay. What's the ungeekiest thing about you?
About me?
Yeah.
I'm currently renovating my front porch. That's
pretty
probably the ungeekiest thing about me.
Unless you're building a dungeon wall on it.
So I do a lot of renovation. Sorry?
Unless you're building a dungeon wall on it. That's pretty geeky.
No, I've had to do a lot of renovations to my house. Yeah. So I've built a 8x6 meter back deck. I'm doing my front porch. I built my kitchen. None of this is high tech. None of this is skilled woodwork, by the way. This is all just putting things together, putting them on walls, that type of thing. But that's probably the most ungeeky thing about me. I'm quite a geeky person. So, video games. I'm always on Pokemon Go, anime. I fit the geeky mold quite well.
Did you see that they're releasing Death Note as a live action?
Sorry, have we ever tried, or have I ever tried live action?
No. You were talking about anime. They're releasing Death Note, the anime Death Note, or the manga, as a live action
Okay.
movie.
I actually tend to prefer high school comedy for some reason, and now for some reason I tend to drift towards sports anime. So I've not actually seen Death Note. I've not seen a lot of those bigger action ones.
No Attack on
Full
Titan?
Metal Alchemist, things like that.
Yeah, okay.
No, the monsters were too gross looking. I don't do scary. Yeah, I don't do scary things, so I can't watch scary movies. I can't watch scary anime and stuff like that. Just don't do it.
Yeah, okay. I've been watching a lot of that stuff with my kid. We just finished watching Parasite, and I think we've got Tokyo Ghoul. We bought the first season of that. We watched about half of it so far. Which is, Tokyo Ghoul's okay.
Have to watch
I think the thing that I've enjoyed most lately has been One Punch Man, but I think that's fairly common. So.
Yeah, I think that's been out for a while, right?
Probably. Now with all the streaming services, I don't have to go looking for it, so whatever pops up now.
That's all right. Cool. Are we running out of time? Should we roll into the final five here? I don't know if you.
It sounds like a plan. Yeah.
All right. So we haven't had you on to do this before, but I guess you probably know the drill. We've got 5 geeky questions for you, so we'll throw them at you and see what you got for us. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Yeah, you can choose both with these questions, too. It's not binary. No.
Yes, I did hear that. I heard someone rig the game, basically. I've never watched a series of Star Trek. I've watched the latest movies, not the latest movie. They were okay, but I think Star Wars is so close to fantasy, which is more my cup of tea, that I prefer that. Yeah.
Western / samurai kind of influence with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, Lucas was good for something anyway.
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, tabletop or video games?
As in tabletop, as in RPGs?
RPGs,
or like board games, or
both.
100% RPGs.
I tend to go RPG, but
it's Umbrella.
You go either way. Umbrella. You could either just say RPGs or RPGs and board games.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, RPGs will pretty much trump anything. If you can get an RPG going, that'll be it.
Agreed.
Cool. Yep, definitely. DC or Marvel?
Marvel,
or neither.
100% Marvel.
Okay.
No, I'm a big Marvel fan. Have been since the 90s X-Men cartoon. But yeah, comic prices are quite expensive here, so I've never really. I tried collecting once, but now I just see what I can. But I've always liked the Marvel characters better.
What is a? Well, it's interesting. What does a comic book go for down there?
Pardon? Sorry.
Oh, how much does a comic cost? Where you're at compared to here. I mean, I think they cost about $3.95 here now.
Yeah, about can range between $6 to $12, which is about the price of a meal at Macca's.
Wow, that's crazy.
Holy shit.
I guess it's just. I guess it's a shipping issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if you kickstart a lot of stuff, but I guess you probably have a similar issue there too with shipping overseas must cost you a fortune.
It can do, yes. Sometimes, yeah, it varies wildly. It's either going to cost a fortune or it's going to be surprising, like surprisingly cheap, which makes the people who are charging a fortune really questionable. So it's hard living at the bottom of the world, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. Sci-fi or fantasy?
Fantasy, yeah. Yeah, always loved fantasy. It used to be the only thing I'd ever read. Sci-fi, I don't mind, but fantasy every time.
All right. And if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh,
Only one.
only one.
Only one.
Look, I'm probably too much of a realist, I guess, to actually, with every superpower I can think of, invisibility, flight, mind reading, stuff like that, I always think of in the real world, why would that actually suck? Or like if real world physics is applied, you would die or whatever. So if I had the ability or the superpower to transport the people I was either playing a game or telling a story to into that world and not be harmed, I think that would be awesome.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably get locked away in a lab and dissected with my brain. So, yeah.
That would be a potential downside, I suppose. All right. I want to thank you for coming on. If you want to throw out all the details there, I did post some of the stuff up there in the show links, but if you want to give out all the deets.
So listen to the Dice Heroes podcast. Check out the website. You can follow Dice Heroes at diceheroes.com. You can like us on Facebook. Google is always your friend.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what I was doing before the show. I'm like, damn it, I have to do all these notes real quick. But make sure when you search for Dice Heroes podcast and not just Dice Heroes. Because there is a board game app, something or another, that'll trump you guys.
Yeah, that's something that we will remedy in the future, I'm sure. We'll get so popular that it will be #1 every time.
There you go.
If you stumble across a bad website, that's us.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I guess you're probably on your lunch break there. You guys were like 17 hours ahead of us or whatever.
Yeah, it's the middle of the day, and I do have to get back to work. So.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Yep. We will catch you later on. We'll have to do it again sometime when you're not working.
Let's do it.
Great. Cool.
See you guys.
All right. See you later, Tondi.
Have a good day.
All right. I will give our details out as well. Next weekend.
My God. No one cares.
Yeah, well, they should. We're going to have Wendy Wagner on next week. Her second novel is out. It might be out now, actually. It's called Star Spawn. It's part of the Pathfinder Tales from Paizo.
I have an advanced uncorrected proof, so haha.
I do too. Blah.
Both do.
So we're going to have her on next week on the 10th. On the 20th, we're going to be doing a players roundtable discussion, which hopefully does not, just not degenerate into, well, my GM sucks. So hopefully we're not going to have that. We're going to try to steer it away from that.
That could make for interesting conversation, especially if there's like wine and alcohol involved.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. If you like this or anything else you've heard on the show, you can reach out to us at legendsoftabletop@gmail.com. Of course, you can find all of our content at legendsoftabletop.com. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. We have a Google Plus page. We're on Tumblr. We're
everywhere.
Yeah,
and please, you're watching this, you're listening to this, go the fuck to iTunes and leave a review. It'll take you less than a minute, It'll help us out. We'll get a better rating score in their little algorithm. We bump closer to the top. People will hear us more. We'll be doing us a big favor. We'll give you a shout out. All you have to do is leave one sentence. Even if you hate it, it doesn't matter.
Well, maybe don't review it if you hate it.
Well, not hate it, but just you can give whatever. An honest review is what we want. We're not trying to bribe you. I'm not trying to bribe you.
I would bribe you.
We're not. John's not going to send you money if you maybe.
I won't do that.
However, but neither will I. Just go ahead and do that for us. We would love it. Take less than a minute of your time. You do your good deed for the day. You'll feel good. We'll feel good.
There's karmic balance involved.
Yes, John will be able to, I don't know, wear pants on his podcast because right now he's not wearing pants.
I do not have pants on.
Pants on. He probably doesn't even have underwear.
No, I do.
So it's sad. He can't. Yeah. So anyway. But anyway, go leave us a review, a rating, help us out.
He's begging. He's begging you guys to do it.
Well, I'm not begging. I'm imploring. Begging implies like a last ditch kind of like desperation. We're not desperate because fuck you. We're not desperate, but we would like a little bit of assistance. So.
Fuck you guys with love. I mean, if that's
fuck you, we love you, but fuck you anyway. That's me anyway. So.
I think he's a couple of glasses of wine in, so just disregard all that.
Well, it's a large glass. So it's from Iron Plow. This glass is from Iron Plow Vineyards. It's a new, relatively new vineyard in South Jersey. Go visit it if you're in the area. If you're not in the area, then I don't know what to tell you.
You probably
live vicariously through the podcast.
Yeah, you can probably order online.
You what?
You can probably order online.
I don't know. I haven't checked out their website. I was only there once. Anyway. But it's not Iron Plow wine, though. This is Valenzano's Labrusca. It's a semi-sweet wine. It's pretty good. That you can order online. When you're out here in October and you have our live streaming game, you'll be sitting down at the table with Dan and James and Gabe.
Oh, God.
Go hit a wine or two. You what?
I said, oh, God.
I know. Yeah, those fucks. That'll be fun. It'll be fun. You won't be the max headroom anymore.
That's true. That's true. I'm used to that.
Yes. John Harem's a max headroom. But yeah, you'll be coming back to New Jersey. You'll be down here like in the fallish area and fallish time of the year, the autumn. I'll have the shore house at that time, so we'll be hanging out there for a little bit. And then so this is just rambling now. I don't even know what the fuck. Anyway.
We should probably wrap this up. So so look for the live stream of our
leave a review
D&D campaign that we're going to get started with our Dwarven Forge tile. So that we're looking to that to be pretty exciting. Be my first real opportunity to get in to play some 5th edition. So I'm looking forward to that, and that'll be a lot of fun.
We'll be using the city streets and an extensive complex of sewer tiles. So it'll be some encounters up above ground, and maybe 1 or 2 encounters in the sewers with some rats and some shit. I don't want to give too much away.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, but it'll be fun. If I have time, and if the universe aligns correctly, I may have a mini fog machine to along with the candles and oil lamps. So it'll be a fun time. Visually, it'll be exciting.
So you'll have to watch us potentially on Twitch by that time.
I may wear my cloak. We'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this up before it gets any further afield. So we want to thank everybody for checking it out, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye. Peace.